a Nigerian man is facing life in prison in connection with a sextortion case that led to the death of a local lawmaker's son.
A Nigerian national by the name of Hassan Bun Hussein Lawal, a 24-year-old Nigerian man. Back in 2022, the feds say he started a sextortion campaign against a state representative's son. And today, the government with the judge agreed to partially unseal this 5-count indictment. It includes crimes that, if convicted, could send Mr. Lawal, this Nigerian national, to prison here for the rest of his life. We're looking at child exploitation, child porn involving death, the child porn distribution, coercion and enticement of a minor, cyber stalking, and interstate threat to extort. The prosecution says that this Nigerian national did not stop with the Guffey victim, that 17-year-old boy. In fact, he went after the Guffey family, threatening to expose these photographs in an attempt to ruin Representative Guffey's political career and the Guffey family's reputation.
Hi everyone, welcome to Ghana Observer. Today I wanted to talk about a sextortion tragedy that involves another Nigerian. Why do I say another? Because this has happened before, and the common denominator are Nigerians. This type of sextortion happened to a UK teenager. He was 16. This happened last year. A British teenager unalived himself due to this same occurrence. Again, last year, 2 Nigerian brothers did the same thing to, I think that was a US teenager who also unalived himself. So here's what happened. This 24-year-old Nigerian, this sextortionist, Hassan Ban Hussein Abolore Lawal, he was lurking around on Instagram, posing as a female volleyball college student. And that's how he connected with this 17-year-old teenager, GAVIN, the son of a U.S. congressman representing South Carolina. Once the pictures were exchanged, then the sextortion started. And he started threatening that he would post the nude pictures online. GAVIN, the teenager, could only come up with $25 and not the $100 being demanded. After receiving the $25, this predator, this psychopath, was still demanding for more, despite the fact that GAVIN told this Lawal guy that he would rather unalive himself than go through this back and forth. GAVIN pleaded that he could get hold of $25 more the following week. Still, this back and forth was going on, tormenting this teenager to the point where he actually unalived himself. And here's the dad, Brandon Gaffey, recounting what actually took place.
My name is Brandon Guffey. I'm here today to talk to you about the dangers of sextortion, the impact that it's having on our youth, our teenagers in particularly, and my personal story. So July 27th of 2022, I lost my 17-year-old son, Gavin Guffey, to the crime of sextortion. He began getting messages from someone pretending to be a girl at another college. They shared messages back and forth, and before long, they started to exchange images. As soon as Gavin sent over images, he began to get extorted. And within an hour and a half of that conversation, Gavin took his life. At 1:40 a.m. on July 27th, he decided that the shame was unbearable. By the end of April of 2022, I was able to pass what is now known as Gavin's Law, which criminalizes sextortion in the state of South Carolina and gives some of the harshest penalties. But one of the biggest things that it does is it forces our Department of Education to inform all students within the South Carolina educational system on what sextortion is and how to combat it. I have also started a nonprofit called Less Than Three, which is on my t-shirt, which is the last symbol that my son sent out before he took his life. And it was his way of saying a heart or I love you. Parents, I want you to educate yourself on what sextortion is. and what to look for. We're so busy trying to protect our children from the outside world, and they are being attacked within our own homes. So I want parents to educate yourself on what this is.
I'll leave a link to the video in the description. And for me, the huge takeaway here is that parents really need to be vigilant in supervising their children's, especially teenagers' activities on social media. Because this whole thing took place within 1.5 hours. It wasn't over a matter of days or months. Within 1.5 hours, this teenager had unalived himself. So they make very drastic, stark, life-changing decisions. Because at that age, it's mostly either or. No gray areas, no in-between. Life is either really bad or really good. I know most parents are already vigilant, but still, it's something that we have to remind ourselves of consistently. The next takeaway for me was that parents need to empower and educate themselves and their children about sextortion, as well as our educational systems. Really have to educate students that it's not the end of the world and how to fight, because the tentacles reach afar. Thank God that now people cannot get away with these type of crimes as much. On Monday, which was 27 January, he was extradited from Nigeria to the US to face justice. And maybe this will start to deter them when they realize that they cannot get away with such crimes just because they live outside of the US or the UK or wherever. And that this psychopath will spend most of his life, or hopefully all of his life, behind bars where he belongs.
19 News Solutions update on a sextortion story we have been following very closely. Justice for a family whose child took his life after becoming a victim of the crime. The feds made the big announcement just a short time ago.
Today, our pursuit of justice and accountability takes a major step forward.
The U.S. Attorney for the District of South Carolina, FBI agents, and a number of other officials announced Monday during a news conference that they finally got a suspect in custody. A big indictment more than 2 years after South Carolina teen Gavin Guffey took his life.
I hope the message is clear. If you use the internet to exploit children in our state, you will be held accountable here in our courts. We will not allow predators to hide behind a keyboard or across an ocean.
Agents, along with the help of Nigerian officials, extradited a 24-year-old man to South Carolina last week. Hassan Bunhassin Abalor Luwal's charges include child exploitation and cyberstalking in the death of Gavin, along with interstate threats with the intent to extort. The suspect, accused of posing as a young woman on social media, convincing Gavin to send compromising photos, then extorted and harassed him, threatening to release those images unless Gavin sent him money. Even after Gavin's death, agents say the man tried to extort Gavin's loved ones. Gavin's father, Brandon, a South Carolina state rep, has worked tirelessly to get a law named after his son that went into effect in 2023. Gavin's law is an effort to protect other kids and their families from ever having to go through the pain.
No one thought that their kids were in a bad space whenever this happened. And the crime just targets your deepest, darkest shame, and kids don't feel like there's another way out.
Luwal faces up to life in prison, and he must pay the family restitution. Prosecutors say the suspect sent messages to several other minors. A hearing for the suspect is scheduled sometime next week.
The father was able to fight till justice prevailed for his son. You know, there's a gaping hole in their lives that will never be filled, because I saw this picture of them, and Gavin is not part of the picture. May he rest in peace. Folks, I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all the continued support for my channel. Please do remember to subscribe, like, share, comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.